And so my workplace becomes hell following this. And me and Jenny fight about it for a year and a half. Okay, this happens in around the first week of December 2017. And we fight about this, and it becomes in April 2019. This escalates. Now, at this time, I don't even know that Wells Fargo is behind what happened. I just think that Jenny knows. Actually, so by now, by April of 19, Jenny has made a Freudian slip that gave away that she was the one, or among she either called Abby, and she's the one that talked to Abby, or she's one of the ones. So it was either her and Tooney, or it was her by herself. But Jenny had a Freudian slip where she let it out that she's the one that talked to Abby. We got in a conversation. We got in an argument. She says, "Okay, well, I talked to her, and she said you'd been in a mental institution. Is that what you want to hear?" And when she wasn't admitting it, she was, this is her way of denying it. When she says that, when Jenny says that I talked to her, I never, ever mentioned one time anything about Jenny talking to anyone. I just said that she knew more about it. Which, by the way, in the description of this video and down below, there's a link to my complaint, and that complaint, the complaint I submitted to the federal authorities about this. And in the back of that link, there's the back of that complaint. There's links to evidence on my CloudFront distribution. You see those links to Amazon CloudFront for the evidence that you can go and check out all my evidence for everything that I make a claim for. I've got an airtight case for pretty much all of it. What happens is me and Jenny get arguing about this. And Jenny keeps wanting to talk to my doctors in private. And my doctor, she wants to talk to her in private time with Jenny and my doctor. Then she wants me to talk to these crisis counselors. And as we're having this argument, because Jenny this whole time keeps telling me that I have a quote-unquote paranoid delusion. That's how she describes my belief that somebody from work, that somebody had went and talked to somebody and heard some stuff about me. They heard all these rumors go around about me. She said that I have a paranoid delusion, and at this point, I'm sick and tired of Jenny lying to me. She's been lying to me about this for a year and a half. And I tell her, here's what you do, Jenny. Go to the magistrate or go to a judge, and say that I have a paranoid delusion, and be prepared for me to contend with all parties that you're filing it, and you're going to file a petition to have me involuntarily hospitalized. If I have a paranoid delusion, they should be able to involuntarily hospitalize me. And but I said, be prepared for me to contend with all parties that you are filing in bad faith. And basically, what I'm telling Jenny is, one of us is going to walk out of that room in handcuffs. So either you're right, and I've got a paranoid delusion, and I walk out of there in handcuffs, or that I'm put in handcuffs and taken to the hospital, or you're lying and you get put in handcuffs. And kind of my thing was the theme of what I was trying to tell Jenny was, I'm tired of you lying. So if you want to lie about this anymore, go lie about it to somebody who can throw you in handcuffs for lying, put you in jail for lying. So we have this argument, and she has these crisis counselors. She eventually talks to me, and letting these crisis counselors come and talk to me. And these crisis counselors, I come in here, one named Allie Rowe and Cheryl Horton. And Cheryl Horton is obsessed with, do you have a mental illness? And what's your diagnosis? That's all she keeps asking me when she's in here. She wants to know, do I have a mental illness? What's my diagnosis? Allie Rowe asks me questions and gets my narrative about what's been going on. I'm talking about this fight that I've been having with Jenny and all of this stuff. And at the conclusion of this, these crisis counselors tell me that I just need to eat a cheeseburger or play on my computer, do whatever relaxes me, that I'm perfectly fine, and I've just had a bad day. Okay, now what they do then is they go and prepare in their internal notes a fraudulent healthcare record that you can find in the evidence link. If you go to the evidence link in my complaint below, go to the evidence links in that complaint, and you'll see this mobile crisis, their notes, where they claim that I'm paranoid and delusional and disorganized. I mean, a whole slew of, they just paint me in the worst light possible. That I'm paranoid, I'm overweight, I've got bad hygiene, my apartment's malodorous, all of this. It's a hell of a lot more than I need to eat a cheeseburger, and I need, or I need to work on my computer. Okay, and this is on April 17th. And on April 21st, Me and Jenny have been arguing about this, and it's about 11:03 at night. I have a knock on my door. Okay, it's an officer from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, and he comes in and tells me, he enters my residence against my wishes. I tell him I don't want to talk. He says, we're going to have to talk. Okay, so we're going to have to let me in. Okay, so I let him in here. And he tells me, and then after him, two more officers proceed to come to the door. And he tells me that somebody's called about me, and because of the nature of what's happened, they're going to have to take me to quote-unquote be looked at. Okay, so he makes it clear that he's processing, an involuntary commitment stay. And so he handcuffs me and puts me in the back of his patrol car against my will. I don't want to do this. And as we're riding to the hospital, which we drive at a very, very high speed, we drive real fast to this hospital. I'm asking him questions about this petition. He makes it very clear that he does not have the petition in his possession. That I'm asking it. So the petition's been signed. And he says, well, whoever fills it out will sign it. And different questions like that that I'm asking him. That he makes it clear that he doesn't have the petition in hand. And when we get to the door at the hospital, well, so first off, I'm in the hospital, and it's several minutes later that Christopher DeVonzo comes back. The officer's name, Christopher DeVonzo, comes back with the petition, hands it to the guy at the door. At the door to Atrium Health, Behavioral Health, at their inpatient unit. He hands the guy the petition, and there's an exchange between the guy at the door and the officer, where the officer says, "I'll just say we'll just make them the same. That way we can say we put the wrong time." Now Jenny in her involuntary commitment petition had described me as paranoid, delusional, all these unkempt apartments, all these characterizations that she made that I think my friends are out to get me. She makes it out that I've got this paranoid delusion that she said I've had the whole time on this petition. Now this doctor at Atrium, who I believe goes by Morsi, I'm calling bullshit on this petition. I'm trying to explain to her that this whole thing is a load of garbage, and that she could look at my text with Jenny. That Jenny had claimed that I had detailed plans for suicide. I didn't have any of that. I'd made a heated statement about me being a vegetable, if they come and find me or something like this. Not enough under the law to make a heated statement to have you involuntarily hospitalized, and whether or not the whole thing was fraudulent. Okay, this whole civil commitment petition was fraud from point A to point Z. But Morsi won't listen to me, and she admits me into their observation unit. Now, what I do is I decide that I'm going to have to go along with what Morsi says. That Morsi thinks that I've got some kind of brain chemistry issue, but I don't want to lie completely, so I split the difference. I say, okay, I tell the people I've got a brain chemistry issue, but I also have reasons to believe I have rational reasons to believe that these people did this invasion of my privacy. And what happens is over a period of 2 days, multiple doctors and physician's assistants talk to me. They call Jenny, they call my mother, and they determine, these doctors determine that there's nothing at all wrong with me. Okay, that even though I'm saying I think I have brain chemistry issues, they must have realized I'm just saying that because that's what they say. They decide that there's nothing wrong with me, and they tell me that it's a good thing that I came because I've been examined and they found nothing. Basically saying, hey, you say this girl's invaded your privacy. She's claimed that you have a paranoid delusion. We've examined you. You do not, so you can go ahead and pursue whatever it is you want to pursue with this person. Now, in regards to this exchange at the door with the officer, and which you can see this commitment petition is in the evidence links to the complaint. So go to the complaint, go down below, go click on the complaint, save a copy of my complaint, go to those evidence links, and you'll see we've got one for the civil commitment petition, involuntary petition, and you can look at it. But both times on this petition were put at 11:43 p.m. So there's two times on this petition. There's the time taken into custody, the time I arrived at the examination unit. Okay, so I'm taken into custody at my apartment. I'm driven 17.2 miles to the inpatient unit. Now, how long does it take to do this drive? Well, it takes a while, but both times I was taken into custody at 11:43 p.m. I was delivered to the examination unit at 11:43 p.m. So I've traveled 17.2 miles instantaneously. And so that's what, when he says we'll make them the same, he's talking about they're going to put the times the same. Now, why would he make the times the same so they could say they put the wrong time? Because the magistrate has an audit file of when that petition was handed off, And for this officer to do everything that he did to me, to come into my residence against my wishes, to handcuff me against my wishes, and to transport me against my wishes, he has to have that civil commitment petition in his possession when he's doing that. And so he knows that if, say it was 11:30 or 11:35 that he got this civil commitment petition. If he puts 11:30, 11:35, then on the audit file it's going to be very, very clear that he didn't have time to go and pick me up at my apartment and take me to and end up at Atrium, at the behavioral health unit, inpatient unit at 11:40 or whatever it was we got there. In reality, we got there sometime around 11:40. I would say is what it was, 11:38, 11:40. And so putting the wrong time on this petition incriminates him. I'm sorry, putting the right time incriminates him, because if he puts that he taken me into custody at 11:03 p.m., which is roughly the time he took me into custody, it's going to show on this audit file that the petition was handed off after he'd already transported me. And again, like I said before, the timeline's not going to make sense. He can't claim to have picked me up, and say he gets his petition at 11:30, 11:35. He can't claim to come and went to my apartment, pick me up, and take me to the hospital about 11:43. So having those two times the same provides plausible deniability. Now this is a very, very significant thing here, because I'm having this petition, and again, having the petition in his possession is what gives the officer the legal right to coerce me, to put me in handcuffs against my will, to transport me against my will, and all this stuff. And under North Carolina law, if you handcuff somebody and transport them 17.2 miles, having no intent, having no legal right to do so, and you do this to facilitate the commission of a felony, that is kidnapping. Okay, so what happened here was not a civil commitment process. I was kidnapped. Okay, this officer, having no legal right, entered my residence. He confined me. That's an element of the crime of kidnapping. He put me in his patrol car, confined me again. Another element of kidnapping. He transported me, and this healthcare this civil commitment petition was pure fraud. He knew it was fraud, and he also participated in fraud himself when he fraudulently enters the date and time on this petition as 11:43 for both date and times. And so given that he confined me, transported me in the commission of a known felony, what happened here was a kidnapping. Okay, and these crisis counselors, they did not do this for free. Okay, the scam that they ran, they were paid to do this. You'll see in the evidence links, go to the complaint, go to the evidence links, and go to the mobile crisis scam and the mobile crisis analysis. You will see that this mobile crisis counselor, Allie Rowe, 3 months after she comes to visit me, she pays off a mortgage with a balance of roughly $186,000. Okay, and so what's happened is Wells Fargo is behind this whole thing. They've paid off this girl, Allie Rowe. They've paid her mortgage off for her to come and do this blatant bullshit healthcare record, which can be used to file this false pretense commitment petition. It can also be subpoenaed later in court for Wells Fargo. And they've almost certainly paid off the guy at the door, and probably paid off the officer that transported me. And so this lays clear that Wells Fargo's intent this entire time, Wells Fargo was behind this, which I'll explain in the next videos, how I know that Wells Fargo was behind the invasion of privacy, and also I'll give you more details of how I know that they're involved in this. But Wells Fargo has intended to make my belief that a privacy violation occurred out to be a symptom of my mental health condition. That I was put in this hospital at 18. I got bipolar disorder type 1, so I'm having a bipolar disorder type 1 delusion that Wells Fargo invaded my privacy. That's the point of these fraudulent notes, this fraudulent civil commitment petition. And now the thing is my hospital calls bullshit on this petition, which is a big problem for Wells Fargo, and I'll get into in the next video.